Yeah,
Yes.
Joe Prospect. Yes.
All 7 are present.
In our board packets, there is a approval and adoption of the agenda. Do I hear that approval?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Roger Bridgman, seconded by Tiffany Dickens to approve and adopt the agenda as presented.
Questions?
Tiffany? Yes. Lisa? Yes. Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy? Yes. Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
Next item is board norms, and for March, we will be guided by the mission statement, which focuses on professional development, which enhances success for all students, and we will also use humor as appropriate to help us work better together. With that being said, if I could ask everybody to stand and follow me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board recognition. Roger.
All right. Again, thank you all for being here tonight. As you know, it's been a little bit since we've had some board recognition, but tonight we definitely want to take some time and recognize one of our board members that will be leaving us after this year. So it is said that school board service is one of the highest callings in public and community service. On behalf of the faculty, staff, students, and Board of Education of the Crawford County R2 schools, we'd like to take this opportunity to simply say thank you, Jason, for your commitment and for your dedication to our district. It is because of selfless individuals like you that give of your time, your efforts, your energies, and passions for the betterment and overall success of our district. Always remember, you are a part of our school, our community, and you are a part of our family, and that we are very grateful. We wish you the best, and I say again, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. And the plaque we're going to present him with tonight says Crawford County R2 School District honors Jason Mell for the service to the Board of Education. By word and deed, your presence has enriched the lives of students and served as an example for all. Board member from 2012 to 2024. Can we give him a round of applause?
It's been a great ride, guys.
But you're smiling really heavily.
And I look forward to the next chapter. But thank you, guys.
And then Dr. Davison, you have some, right?
I do.
Okay.
I do. So hopefully I won't butcher this, all right? So hear ye, Office of the Governor, State of Missouri, Governor's Proclamation. So whereas a system of quality public education is established in the future of our state and nation, and whereas the people of Missouri have a long tradition of support for the public education in their local school districts, and whereas local school boards are the ultimate expression of the unique American institution of representative governance of public school districts, and whereas local school boards acting on behalf of and in close connection with the people of their communities chart the direction of the education in their communities, and whereas local school boards serve as the key community advocate for children, youth, and the public schools. Now therefore, I, Michael L. Parson, Governor of the State of Missouri, do hereby proclaim March 2024 to be School Board Recognition Month in Missouri. In testament whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the Great Seal of the State of Missouri and the City of Jefferson this 29th day of January 2024, signed Michael L. Parsons. So he has proclaimed the month of March to be School Board Recognition. And so again, there's a lot of timeless hours put into this and a lot of thankless Not that you're not thanking, but just not a thank you for what you do. So we have certificates here from the governor, and in no particular order. Sherry Sheedy, if you could give a round of applause.
First.
And Tammy Palmer. Jennifer Morley. Jason Mel. Tiffany Dickens. Lisa Elrod. And last but not least, Roger. So again, thank you guys for all your time, effort, energy. You take a lot of questions from the community, ask a lot of questions of me, try to get information together. We have students went around and made some thank you cards and bulletin boards or posters for you. So thank you for all you do. If we could give them one more big round of applause.
Well, thank you guys. So the next item is citizens participation, in which we have allotted 30 minutes to residents of the school district and staff to give the board the opportunity to listen to citizens. Remarks will be limited to 3 minutes and 1 appearance, thus allowing for a maximum number of participants in the allotted time in which citizens are allowed to speak to issues. Questions directed to the board may not always be answered immediately. Tonight we have one speaker, Ms. Crystal Hall.
Hi guys. So I know that we have salary issues on the agenda tonight, and I wanted you guys to keep some things in mind when you talk about that. Some things to think about. We had a teacher baseline of $38,000 put in place a while back, and that affected tenured teachers that had been here for a while. When that happened, a brand new teacher made the same as me until I got to year 9. I only made $80 more than a brand new teacher that year, my year 9. Year 10, I only made $124 more a month than a brand new teacher. Next year, year 11, if this $40,000 gets put in place the way it says it's going to, if no adjustments are made on our pay scale, I'll make $23 more than a brand new teacher coming in. The 2.9%, the 5.7% that is projected that we may or may not adopt, I don't know if that's going to affect anyone other than the base. If it does affect all of the rest of the steps, not just the base, the 2.9%, I will make $98 more than a brand new teacher. The 5.7, I'll make $192 more a month than a brand new teacher. So I mean, even with these, and again, I don't know if this is going to affect anyone other than the baseline, even if the 5.7 was put in place, that would just keep me pretty much at the same as where I am right now, a little above a brand new teacher. And so I just want you to keep that in mind, that we need something for the people that have been here for a while, not just the base. Another thing is, when I was looking at the bill, we get a grant that's given to us to make up that base. So if people aren't at the base, we get that money there. So we need it trickling somewhere, and it can't just be, well, we plan to do it and then it never happens. Something needs to happen, because this is going to be year 3 that we're going to be dealing with this, and it's going to continue. So I'd really like you guys to keep that in mind when you're talking about that tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is the consent agenda items. All those items are in your board packets. Do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda items as presented?
So moved. Second. Motion by Sherry Shutey, seconded by Lisa Elrod, to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Does anybody have any questions, any concerns about any of those items? Angela?
Lisa?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy? Yep. Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
Next item is financial statements and action on the March bills. Do I hear a motion to pay the bills this month?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Roger Bridgman, seconded by Jennifer Moreland, to approve the financial statement and action on the March bills as presented.
Does anybody have any questions about anything in the packet? Angela?
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
Next item is administrative reports, board and committee reports, where we'll start today. Sherry?
Okay, since our last board meeting on February 26th, I was at the MSBA Board of Directors meeting in Columbia, and they talked about a lot of different things, but couple of the items was COSPA, which is the newer version of the NSBA, just to let us know that it is growing, and they had another meeting just recently, and their biggest, what they discussed the most is school safety, which is a big thing, and then also AI info and on policies for school districts concerning AI. Annual meeting is October 17th through the 19th. It is moved to the Western Sheraton at the Crown Center on Kansas City Plaza. Advocacy Day is, I believe it's the 9th. I think I wrote that date down, make sure it's right. And again, we'll have a student showcase, so if anyone is interested in going, you need to let Dr. Davidson or Angela know. Summer Summit, and a lot of this you probably already know anyway, is June 24th, 25th in Kansas City, and then the fall regional meeting at this time is supposed to be in Herman.
Thank you, Sherry. Do you have any?
Calendar committee met again today. There is an identified potential, I mean, not necessarily a problem, but there's an identified mistake, so to speak, on our 24-25 calendar in regards to snow days. So the calendar committee reconvened today to discuss potential options to fix that. So right now, staff will be going back, the members of the committee that are staff will be going back to their respective buildings to get feedback as to how the staff members that give feedback would like to see us proceed to fix that.
Any other committee meetings since last month?
No, but I don't think so.
Can I call a meeting now? Can I ask for a meeting now? Because I think we need to have a meeting. Is now the time to do that, or later on?
I presume you.
Salary committee has
Yeah.
not currently met for this school year, and we do need to set a meeting to meet with different staff members that are part of salary committee meeting. So with it being March, I think that we need to get something in place.
So you want to call a salary committee meeting? And when do you want to call that?
We probably need to do it ASAP, so what is today, Monday, sometime this week or next, whatever works for Dr. Davidson.
Yep, so it'll probably be in April, because I'll be at the conference the rest of this week, and then we have spring break the week after, so.
Okay.
And as I go over the budget update for next year, it should clarify quite a few questions, and we won't have information until after legislative session ends anyway, about mid-May on what we could do. So So we have time, so sometime in April, whatever, if you want to do beginning of, middle, or.
Beginning, probably beginning.
I'm pretty open for whatever the committee wants.
Me and Tiffany and Jennifer. I'm good for any time. It's Wednesday the 3rd. Are you open Wednesday the 3rd?
Yes, that looks phenomenal. That sounds great.
I can be back to Cuba as close to 4, around 4, probably 3:30.
I would have to be probably 4:30 or after.
4:30, that's fine with me too. Other than if the staff would mind staying that late. We'll have how many on that salary committee, you know?
We just
Are
get a
you
kind of like
wanting
calendar committee.
To meet with only certified teachers or classified staff as well? What are you wanting to, because we do have different people that sit on those committees.
Yeah, they've been separated in the past.
Yeah, we have had separated last year. Well, could we do both of them and one be back up to the next? Would that be too much?
She did.
I think that's actually how we met
Yeah,
last
we did
year,
that before.
honestly. They were either the same day separated by
They were
a
back
certain
to
time
back.
frame, or
Yeah.
they were a back-to-back day.
So how long do you need for that meeting? If you started at 4:30, what do you need? Because we gotta start one at 4:30 and one at 5:30, or,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can't imagine more than an hour, but again, that's if staff would be willing to come back at that time.
Or you should do 2 days in a row. You wanna do that?
It's up to you. I'm game for that. Would that work for you?
I cannot do Thursday at 4:30.
Tuesday? Oh, yeah, duh.
Are you looking for more informational? Do you want
Yes.
to meet together and then separate the meetings after that?
That would work probably.
So start with an
Everybody gets the
informational
same
type.
information and
Yeah.
then you break out into the two groups
Is that
afterwards.
okay?
Yeah, that's good. Let's do that.
so what's your motion?
I make a motion. Do we need a motion right now? We don't.
Not for a salary.
Okay. You're throwing me off,
Sorry.
Jason.
I was looking to condense a whole lot of words into one sentence. Sounds like salary committee, 4:30 on 4/3/24.
Yes.
There you go.
All right. Any other board and committee reports? Then we will move into the building principal reports. Let's start in the elementary school, and I can use the gavel if I need to, but
It's always a choice. I mean, it's, sometimes you have to, you gotta do what you
all
gotta
about
do.
choices.
I understand. Obviously, in our board packet is the report from the elementary school. Do you have anything in addition that you'd like to add?
Just that kindergarten screening started up, so one of our favorite times of the year is getting to introduce our new Wildcats. So Mrs. Green is going to join Dr. Williams and I on these upcoming 2 nights, so that's pretty exciting. We're excited to get people in the building, and it was that first impression with the parents. So we're pretty excited about the upcoming week. Past that, nothing too much.
Anybody have any questions about any information in that report? A lot of excitement in the elementary school. We will move into the middle school. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Um,
Plenty of instruction. Everything in there is pretty well up to date. There was a change for the SPICE fundraiser. It's going to go to April 12th. Recognition for a couple of students for their Science Olympiad project, Reed Payne and Kelsey McGinnis. 4th overall, that was pretty impressive. And we're gearing up pretty hot and heavy for our Mary Richter Award. We've put a lot of time into that, especially Mrs. Jackson. It's only given to one school annually, so we are going to be applying for that in April. And Mrs. Shoemaker gave me an update, there is no baby yet. So, those of you that were wondering. She's not here because she is waiting on her grandchild to be born, so.
That is very important.
It is very important.
Thank you. Did anybody have any questions about the middle school report that's in our board packet? Okay, you're off the hook tonight, so. We will slide right into the high school. The high school report's in our board packet. Ms. Missy, do you have anything you'd like to add to that report?
Well, for whatever reason, the ACT we gave on 3/12, not 3/7. I don't know why I typed that in that way, but it was the 12th, which was also our service day, which I don't have in here, but if you've seen anything on Facebook, it was our first attempt at it. I think we've tweaked some old plans in the past, but we sent all the freshmen out to do life skills. Which was very well received. They did 4 different stations. The sophomores stayed and tested, 41 juniors stayed and tested for ACT, and then the rest of the juniors and seniors went out to do community service. So we had a lot of cleanup, lots of kids greeting to the little ones. Methodist Church, they were packing chickens, and I didn't hear a single complaint out of any kid. The whole time they came back, they all loved it. I think I had only one mom that was a little concerned with all the paint on her daughter, but so that wasn't my fault. That their sloppy painting is not. So, but it was very well received. The kids loved it, the staff loved it, and we got multiple compliments from our community members that were involved with it or just saw them out on the road. So, very
I've
good.
seen a lot of those pictures.
Yeah,
That was good.
It was good. And the goalposts are still not finished, but we'll get to those too. But the baseball field is finished, so that's good.
Cool. Does anybody have any questions about the other information in the board packet? Then I will move right into the special education director report. Anything?
Nothing to add at this time.
Okay.
She had a personal event.
Then we will jump right to Abby, who has the student represented to the board report.
During the Science Olympiad Day, we did have 2 teams that plays, the Ag Science team and the Write It Do It. DECA sent their 3 medalists to state, none of which placed, but all had a great time anyway. Key Club had their annual blood drive with 50 donors, 45 collected, and 14 first-time donors. And the band has 3 members going to state. The GVC math team placed first at the conference, and the high school and middle school attended student council state this weekend. So.
Awesome. It's a busy time of year right now. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Then we will move right into the assistant superintendent report.
I don't have any additions at this point.
And obviously that report is in your board packet. Does anybody have any questions about the information presented? Thank you, Myra. And with that being said, we will jump into the superintendent's report.
Yeah, another thing I want to point out in my report, because I'm still a little hurt personally by this, we received a thank you but no thank you letter from Fort Rivers. It felt like a breakup letter.
We never officially became dating, but
yeah. It was one of those, they wanted us and we didn't want them, they wanted us more, and then we wanted them and then they didn't want us, so.
That's exactly what happened. They are.
So anyway, I called around too. It doesn't look like they're gonna change that in the foreseeable future either, the next year or two, so just kinda, we'll stay GBC for now, but that's all I had to add.
does anybody have any other questions about any of the information in the superintendent's report? With me not hearing anything, we will move into unfinished business. Dr. Davison, tell me about the 2023-2024 budget.
Yep, so our current budget, we're on track, looking good there. We've got current expenditures year to date are 81%, and that's in comparison to our revenues that we've received at 70%. Nothing major has come up, which is great. We do have some amendments, but that's just our finances are a living, breathing document that ebb and flows. We do a November and a March update before we do a June update to actuals and approve any budgets.
Does Does anybody have any questions about the 23-24 budget? Leads to a good segue to go into the 24-25 budget.
We have budget amendments.
Yeah, we do have an
Oh,
amendment.
I'm sorry.
I make a motion that those amendments be approved.
Motion by Lisa Elrod, seconded by Tiffany Dickens, that the budget amendments be approved as presented.
Does anybody have any questions about those amendments? Angela?
Tammy?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
With that being said, what about the 24-25 budget?
Yep, so the 24-25 is coming along pretty nicely. It's creating some scenarios for us. So last year I inherited the budget from the year prior. This year have really looked at the last 2-3 years spending, seeing where we could reduce cost, expenses there. When I typed up this addendum, at that time was able to remove $467,000 out of our operating expenses. So that's 20% of our expenses. The other 80% is our staffing. Since then, I've been able to remove another roughly about $300,000 out of that. So right there, almost $800,000 for next year. So the goal, we've had some one-time ESSER money come in, and years prior was looking at doing capital projects, one-time money. When you met with financial advisors, they said do not put that in salary schedules, utilize it for one-time projects, because essentially what you do is if you put it in recurring cost, that'd be like buying such as your salary schedules, it'd be like buying a house with your savings account, making your monthly payments with your savings account, not with your monthly revenues you make. But with that being said, with what the state's doing legislatively, they were at a 38,000 minimum base, and now they've jumped to a 40 potentially. That may or may not go through, but that's a grant just to give every teacher under 40,000. It does not decompress the salary schedule. We heard someone speak to that earlier this evening. So right now, legislators say school districts' reserves are too high. And so they look at it as 40,000 is more than what they would have made in, whether it's 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. They really just want to see schools spend down their reserves. So what we have is a good chunk of money. We're very conservative. I'm conservative. We save, we don't spend, we budget, and we still spend less than that. That has crept up our reserves a little bit. So kind of where I'm looking at, with what we've already spent with salaries and everything in this year's budget, and we have to kind of follow because it's all pending what happens in legislation. But right now, the basic foundation formula is looking at moving from 6,375 to 6,760, and that's the student adequacy target. That's one of our multipliers per pupil to get money. That would be an additional $516,000 to us, but that's new revenues and has to wait till it passes the legislation. And then Prop C money, moving that from 1,374, that would move up to 1,513. Again, that's another multiplier for us to get new money. So that's $175,000 in new money. So that, say 516 and a 175, we'll round up, say that's $700,000 in new money, which is great. So what I have though, with where we're currently at, I have that new money added in and reducing all the other expenditures without adding anything to salary schedules for teachers or classified. We're at a $92,000 roughly deficit spending. Now we still have some other pieces to go in and put into play. So it's kind of one of these cautionary, and we've got some legislation too, like Senate Bill 799, which is good for us personally, which would be we reduce personal property tax, accelerates that after 12 years we pay next to nothing. But calculating that could be a loss of $325,000 to us as a district in money. So it's kind of, we've got to see where legislation is. Let me get this going here. But there's positives before we do that. The governor wants to fully finance the foundation formula, which is good. Wants to fully finance transportation, which is good. And that's 75% of our allowable cost. But here's where we're at right now, and probably why we haven't had a salary committee yet. This right here is just spending options for the board to kind of see what the cost is. So this is certified, make that a little bigger, maybe. So this is the teacher's salary schedule certified. So the 36,000, these were all proposed that they would go to the base and then they trickle out through the salary schedule. So it's not just for the first time teacher, it trickles out. Well, that's at 2.5%. But annual recurring cost, this is 146,000, so 1.1% of reserves. 37,000 is a 5.7%. Our classified and hourly, that's not the administrative salary schedule or your central office or any of those folks. That's just your classified hourly. And bus drivers are excluded from that since we added to that last month. But that recurring cost is 303,000, so 3%. 38 is at 8.6%.
And just so I'm clear, if we change it to 37,000 and it goes all the way down through the salary schedule.
Correct. Yeah, it's not just the first year, it trickles, so everybody gets a bump. And in our salary schedule, we have a multiplier going down and across. So,
But the total cost would be about 300,000.
correct, at a 37. Mhm.
Yeah.
And then a 38 is 473, 39, 646, 40, 820,000. So these are the percentages we would start deficit spending. So then what you would look at, and it'd have to be a board decision. Right now projecting we should end next year, that's with getting the new money and no legislation reducing our revenues, should end at about 67% reserves, which is good. The other thing working on, we still have ESSER 3 money and we haven't pulled all that. That's another 1.9 million, so about 19%. So when you add that in, we could be at 86, 87% reserve at the end of next year if we don't do anything. So our auditor's looking at a 30% is good for us. So if you wanted to, as a board, take the 87 minus the 30, you got 57%. Then we go into deficit spending, so this is what you would reduce that by each year depending on what you chose. But what we could do, and I think in fairness to the community, that's why I've talked about not going to another tax levy, because we ran it proactively to get this money in advance. But what we could do is spend down that difference in money, and so let's say we hit a 40% reserve, and then we need to start talking, okay, how much money do we need to then, in a tax levy come back and level that spending off. And that could be a 1 year, 2 year plan and program process there.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
So like, let's go to the 5.7%.
Mhm.
The annual reoccurring cost is 303,000. That's if the money is put on the salary schedule. But say we have teachers that are in column 1 and that are not moving over and down.
Mhm. There's a multiplier going down.
Right, so they'll still get, an
Everybody
increase,
will get a bump.
but that 303,000 may not be spent, you know what I mean? You see what I'm
Oh,
asking?
it does. It's what's paying for everybody who's currently employed. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Figured in.
That's already
go
figured.
across and down.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
have, we're
Right,
small
okay.
enough that I've got every single employee and what they make for next year tied into this. So I
Okay,
know
that's
exactly.
the question I was asking.
Yeah, larger districts look at averages of how many teachers in each column,
Mhm.
and they don't know who they are. They just might say, we got 15 teachers in
Right,
column 4.
okay,
So yeah, so these are exact.
Exact.
Now, I say that, it changes. I got a disclaimer down at the bottom. But this was as of March 7th, because depending on who we hire, who resigns, all
Right.
that changes. The other thing to keep in mind, so this year, to give everybody a step, next year is $130,000. So it's this plus a little bit more, because then if you don't add any more to that base, you still have that next step that gives everybody more money. But that starts to get pretty complex. So this is a good idea to kind of go off. So the challenge is, last year the governor went to a 38 with the grant, which was great. But that can, again, compressed our salary schedule, means years 1 through 7, I believe, or 8 maybe, didn't make any more. So it makes our teachers be on a pay freeze essentially for those years. Now 40 is kind of the new number, but then I'm kind of waiting to hear, because I'm hearing some in legislative branches are saying that's too much and then not enough. And then they were looking at how do you support that, and then others are saying you don't. You tell districts that's the minimum. So 38's been proposed, and now a 40's been proposed as the state statute required minimum. Right now it's 25,000, but there's a lot of questions about it, because there's several districts who will not be able to make their payroll if the state jumps to that. But these are all things to think about. So this is the cost, the percentage, that is with both the certified and classified getting that money. This is combined totals. So then looked at career ladder, and that's kind of up in the air too right now. That is, if you work more hours, the state will give you more money. And that's a 60-40 grant, but we have to pay benefits, so it's really a 55-45 grant, meaning the state will pay 55%, we'll pay 45%. So, and they have different years of experience on when you can hit these. So stage 1, $1,500, this is the cost to us. Stage 3, this is the cost stage, stage 2 and then stage 3. Now something to consider is, to me, it's not fair for teachers to have to do more to get more. So while it's nice career ladders there, I think the challenge is, well, but we want you to do, right now, stage 1 is 25 hours, stage 2 is stage 1 is 50 hours, stage 2 is 75, stage 3 is 100. So to me, if the board is willing to do this, I would put this money up into your salary schedule where it'll be longevity and stay in. Which really, if we get the proposed revenues the state talks about and we don't get any decreases, I quite honestly think we'd be right here at that 38. And then if you wanted to put your career ladder money in there, you could even maybe go to a 39 if you wanted. So but then your deficit spending at 6.5%. So then you take that, say 57 divided by 6.5. That would be how many years roughly until we need to go out for a tax levy. But that's also not knowing what will change. I couldn't tell you what the state will do in the next 2 months, let alone 2 years or 3 years. Now there's also proposals too for the SAT to go up again after this year. It may not go up as much, but we could get a bump there. So it's just really trying to track and monitor all that. And then we have the baseline teacher salary grant here, which we're looking at funding that 100%, or it might be a 70-30. The state's really kind of finding out too, they don't have as much money as they think they do. They've got the same one-time money from the feds that we have from the state. So they're throwing all kinds of scenarios out there. But it just makes it hard for us as a district to figure out what's the sweet spot to land on. But it's still staying positive. There's a lot of good, like I said, fully funded formula, fully funded transportation. These are proposed from the stage.
So I'm gonna, my favorite word, career ladder. If we talk career ladder for a second, if we stayed stage 1, 2, and 3, is stage 1 for people that have been in education for 3 years? Is there the time frame on that?
There is. I think it's, well, I'm not going to say it's X amount of years before you can go to the next one.
Yeah.
So the state now is even looking at making those more years because they're realizing they're spending more money.
Well, I guess what my thought process is yes, some teachers would probably have to do more work, but for me, I'm a teacher too, for those of you that don't know. I'm writing letters home, doing newsletters or whatnot. It's stuff that I have to do, but that's what goes on my career ladder. So it's really not any extra work that I'm doing just to get paid. It's I'm getting paid for doing something that I already
And then
do.
document.
So
There's
when I,
non-
yeah,
non-time,
so
so
I'm
time.
looking at the career ladder stages as, yes, our new teachers that are getting that big bump towards the base won't get the career ladder yet, but our veteran teachers that have been here forever, that gives them a bigger chunk to go on. Am I wrong on looking at it like
Well,
that?
so I've created these salary schedules already. So, yeah, so when we meet,
Yeah,
when we meet at the salary committee, I've already built all these schedules out and can show.
I mean, I really
But
like the
you're-
idea of
but you're-
taking that money and putting it back in there, because then
Yeah.
everybody gets a piece of the pie.
But your 3,000 to, say you go from a 35 to a 38, don't
Yeah.
quote me on this, but if you go diagonal down the salary schedule, that may be like a $5,000 increase to our veteran teachers. So,
That's assuming they've done the work to go over. Some of
right,
those
everybody
veteran
falls in
teachers-
different areas, so.
Yeah.
It's
So,
like
yeah,
that extra
but it's got
hour
multipliers going down
so-
and
Yeah.
across.
Yes, absolutely.
And everybody's gonna be different on that one,
Right.
so.
Yes.
Right.
It will be
And
according
that's
to
why I
the-
feel like career ladder would reach everybody, no
Yeah.
matter where they're at on the salary schedule,
Well-
somebody would be able
As
to
long as they do
do
sign
that,
up
yeah,
to do it.
Yeah.
right.
I mean, this is kind of your.
But that's just my opinion, so.
This is kind of your buffet, and it's really whatever the board's comfortable with. But we won't know until after a legislative session, which will be middle of May, first couple weeks of May.
Yeah.
And then they have to determine the impact of some of those bills. So we may not know till June
But we still have to.
where some of this stuff is.
I
But
mean, districts around us are increasing their salaries.
Which
Yeah.
when we do the salary schedule.
So
that's what
didn't-
we're talking about.
Can we talk about the amendment salary, how was that? How did we talk about that?
for the policy for the contract.
Yes.
Yep. So that's coming up in the
Okay,
one of the other agenda items
Okay.
here. So that's for the board to approve.
okay,
And I'll be glad to talk more about it.
okay.
But anybody have any questions on this or? So it's just, so everybody's clear, we are in a deficit spending for any
Yeah.
additional salary or hourly we add to this.
So, when you have your meeting, will you be talking about career ladder with these
Yeah.
teachers so that?
I would like to.
So that we kind of know how people feel about
That's
it?
when you should do it.
Yeah, I would love that.
I've got a color coded how many years at what,
Okay,
so it should be easy visual. But again, right now, that's part of legislation. That all may be changing, so I don't know what it is. I checked with Desi, they don't have any new information out on it as of today, so.
I just know that with my career letter, I don't have to do a lot of extra.
It doesn't take long to like document what you need to document?
No.
You just have to be consistent with it because it's not anything you can do during working hours and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So as a counselor, mine was a little more difficult than the teachers because there's only certain things and
Right.
things we can't put out there and tell people. So it'd be different for different employees, but
Yeah, I
You're
think it's
willing to
harder
do
at
it,
the
it's
high
worth-
school level than it is, high school and middle school level
Yeah.
probably have a little bit more difficult time than getting it than what elementary does, but,
Yeah.
there's always, I feel like
there's lots of options.
Yeah.
You just gotta
Any other questions about the 24-25 budget?
Thank you for doing it.
That's a lot of work. There's a lot of numbers.
Oh, I've got a lot more. It's
I
too
know
much.
there's a lot more numbers that support those numbers,
Too
but
much for the 6 weeks. so We'll save it for the salary committee.
there you go. Then the next item under unfinished business is to approve Regulation 4130, which I think Tammy is what yours.
Mhm.
Segue.
Yeah.
So this will allow us to, once we know what that is, send out a one-page amendment to those contracts and then go from there.
Do we need to approve this?
Yes.
Please.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Tammy Palmer, seconded by Roger Bridgman to approve and adopt Regulation 4130 as presented.
Does anybody have any questions or concerns about Regulation 4130? Angela?
Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
Next item, we will move into some new business. Like, we need to take a look at the 2024-2025 employee insurance.
It's kind of nerd about this stuff. Is it exciting? We've got a 4% decrease, which may not sound like a lot, but
It is good.
what it is, what I'm recommending to the board is we take that savings and then we roll it back into our staff. No, not salary schedule, the staff's insurance. Because we don't have one, but we have 4 options the board can pay for. But then those options come at a different cost. So then I ask the insurance company to put where the staff would get the benefit. So we have a HSA here that's board paid. So the board has contributed $682.97 per month, which is just under $8,200 a year. A lot of districts are about $5,000 to $6,000, so that's a benefit that a lot of staff don't realize sometimes. But it also goes into towards your retirement, so it's a twofold one: better for your insurance, better for your retirement. But with that first option there, HSA, the difference is $74.69, which we can put then straight into the staff member's HSA account. And then the next option we have there is a PPO, and it's $655.65 cost to us. So again, I had the insurance company put, there's a $27 difference in there, and so we can set that up in the employee navigator to make sure employees aren't paying that difference. And then the third option is another HSA, and with that one, you can staff can put $49.34 back into their HSA, which is great. And then the last option there is a PPO, and that's at the full $682.97. So the option 3 and option 4 have access to BJC, which is really good. So I'm excited. To me, that's a big perk that we have 4 options and better benefits for our staff. Anybody else stoked about school insurance?
Yeah.
And all of our ancillaries to you are the same, which is
It is
nice.
better than mine.
Now we see the excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really good. They did nice stuff for us.
I'll make the motion. To approve the insurance bid.
I'll second.
There you go. Thank you.
For hanging out there for a minute.
Motion by Roger Bridgman, seconded by Tammy Palmer to approve employee insurance bid from Anthem, option 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the 2024-25 school year as presented.
Does anybody have any other questions about that before we call for a vote? Angela?
Roger?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
Next item, we need to talk about summer school pay.
Yep, so this year will be the first year we're doing a 4-day summer school. Last year we still had the 5-day. So in salary meetings last year that came up, and I told them I wouldn't forget them, and so this is me not forgetting them. So I took all the rates and then converted them from a 5-day to a 4-day, so no one would lose pay. Teachers would move up to $35 per hour, which actually gives them an increase there. An aide would be $15.75, secretary $104, principal $312.50 per day, nurse $211, bus driver $97.50, and then the director $176.37. So in that little conversion chart there, you can see that they were at or slightly above where they were prior years.